Hi everybody, my name is Emma, this is Emma Rosen Books, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you about what indie publishing is, or at least what I feel it means. The reason I wanted to do this is that this is something I get asked quite a lot. I market myself as an indie writer on my social media, on my website. When I go to events in person, I have a poster on my table that says who I am, what I do, and it includes that I'm an indie writer. So I do have people come up to me and say, what does that mean? And I think that it's something people don't really understand. I have had people say that it sounds quite cool because it's like being an indie musician, or I don't know. But I know that when I started out in this industry, it wasn't something I was very clear on. And so having a video that kind of explains it and lays it out, I thought would be really useful. Now, I appreciate that a lot of people who watch my channel already are indie writers, so you don't need to know. So I thought I'd make this video for people who are new to the world of indie and self-publishing, and for people who are just trying to find out what all that means. As I say, this is what it means to me. If you take things slightly differently, then do tell me in the comments how the lines sit, I suppose, for you. So I think most people are familiar with traditional publishing. So if you say that you've had a book published, it's not necessarily something you have to explain. People understand that writers get agents, of course you don't have to, and that agent will get you a publishing deal, or you get the publishing deal yourself, and then the publishing company handle the editing, the design work, the marketing, everything for you, effectively. Although you'd be involved to a more or lesser extent, the publishing house deal with that side of things. I think also a lot of people understand or have a concept of self-publishing. I think particularly because when Kindle came out and other e-readers, people were able to, dig out that old manuscript that they'd never done anything with, turn it into a suitable file and put it out there. And that's not as much of an undertaking as creating a print book and then having books lying around and all of that. It was something that was much more achievable. So there was a huge increase in people self-publishing work. Now, I think there's a certain amount of prejudice tied up with the term self-publishing because you can publish anything. So I think that when you say I've self-published some work, from the general public, there can be a bit of a sense of, right, so you just put that out there without the seal of approval saying your work is good enough from a traditional publisher. Of course, that's not necessarily the case, and a lot of people choose to be self-published over traditional publishing, and it's a whole complex issue. But as I say, I do think that it's something that, although people understand what it means, a lot of people think it means ebook only, I believe, and I think a lot of people feel that indie books or self-published books may not be good enough. So I do think that exists. Now, I am a self-published writer. I have published my books myself. The reason I use the term indie is because to me there's an extra element that kind of describes my mindset and the way that I do things. So for me, an indie publisher is somebody who self-publishes. It's like self-publishing, but with a different spin on it, I suppose. Anyway, it's somebody who self-publishes their work, but they treat that as a business. So it's not somebody who's doing it because they just want that book out there and they're kind of not fussed whether it sells or not. They just want to have that as a thing. It's not just somebody doing it for a hobby. It's somebody doing it because they seriously want to be a writer and they want their book to be out there in the same way as other writers' books are there. And there are loads of reasons why somebody may have done that. It may be because it's quicker. It may be because you retain more creative control. It may be because you're publishing something very niche that isn't going to be of interest necessarily to a publishing house. There are loads of reasons why somebody might choose that route. It just suits them better. So as I say, predominantly for me, that's kind of the main thing. You see it as a business. You see it as a professional production of a product that you want to be successful over a hobbyist. As I say, you may object, this is what I'm saying, the lines are kind of drawn in different ways. And then the other side of things, to me, somebody who is an indie will generally also work with freelancers. So because you want your book to be a professional project, you're going to use people like editors, freelance designers, freelance illustrators. You may use beta readers, you may use proofreaders, you may even use people within your marketing and all sorts of things. You want to work with other professionals. In the same way that within a traditional publishing house, you would have all of those professionals working on a book, but whereas the publishers handle all of that, as an independent publisher, you do it yourself. So you're the person contacting all of those people, if you choose to use them, and managing that whole project yourself. So to me, by saying I'm an indie publisher, although I'm quite happy to be described as somebody who's self-published because I am self-published, to me saying I am an indie writer means that what I'm saying is I'm doing this seriously. I mean it. And yeah, that's what it means to me. And even if sometimes I choose not to work with other people, I'm still giving that level of kind of branding and decision making. I mean, to date I have worked with other people, and I think most indies do. But it means that, you know, I'm taking it to that serious level that I want this book to be as good as any other book out there. So I hope that that's clarified that a little bit. As I say, I'd be really interested if you use the term indie publishing, how you feel about it and what it means to you. But that is why I usually will describe myself as an indie writer as opposed to a self-published writer, because it just adds that extra layer of, yes, I'm self-published, but I also do this. So when people ask me at events, I do try to explain to them. I usually just say, oh, it means that I've used freelancers, and so I've had editing work done and design work done, because I think that's a simple way to explain it. But yeah, I do think it is something that people don't necessarily understand very well. And I think it's a rising trend in all creative spheres for people to independently publish or put their work out there. So I think it's something that's going to become more and more important, and there's going to be more of us, in my opinion. So hooray! So I hope you found this useful. Let me know where you think the differences in these terms stand, and what you describe yourself as and why. I'd be really interested to know. Please hit like if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you're all well, and I'll see you all soon for my next one. Take care.